Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Sophia Files. We have another great conversation for you today. We're going to be talking about talking to trees and what wisdom do trees have for us. We're going to be participating in some group mediumship. We're going to be bringing in whatever healers we can to kind of talk about their perspective with healing as well as what they're experiencing from the other side. And then how to choose and attune to joy and happiness. So if you could, ladies, introduce yourselves, Danica, Ariel, and Melissa.
Hi, I'm Danica Olson with Goldilocks Glimmers, and I specialize in mediumship, connecting you with your loved ones that have died.
Yay.
Hello, my name is Ariel, and I am the lunar player, and I have a variety of skills, and I'm just ready to help people.
Excellent.
All right, and I am Melissa Kohler. I'm with Rising Phoenix Medium, and I do the psychic fairs in the Pacific Northwest. So I go to those and I do mediumship. I really enjoy the sort of spiritual coaching, and then also starting with energy work. So I've been practicing that recently and getting some good
Yay.
results from it. So yeah, if you're up in the Pacific
Awesome.
Northwest, stop by.
Let's do it. And my name's Sophia Sterling. I'm a psychic medium. I read charts, I read numerology, and I do my best to serve spirit in whatever way is necessary, which changes every single day, it seems like. So you just never know what this work is going to bring us. Swear to God. So let's get into it. And if you're new to the podcast, what we choose to do is we set our opinions aside and our egos aside, and we allow our team, our spirit guides, our guardian angels to come through and speak for us and with us and help us remote view and channel topics so we always get kind of answers we don't always expect. And that's always very awesome and fun. So, and that's what I can say about that. No. So let's bring up and bring through. First of all, I think this would be kind of fun. Let's see if we can bring through the consciousness, right? Because we have a collective consciousness of everything. Let's see if we can try to bring in the collective consciousness of plants and trees, or maybe just trees specifically, but anything that sort of wants to show up and represent for us in this conversation, the energetic of that field, that collective. All right. And Ariel, I'm going to let you start. If you have any messages or images around that, help us see what you see.
Well, I see a perfectly blossomed, a cherry blossom tree, the sakura, I believe, is also what I heard. And it just had, they wanted to use this word specifically, a very demure personality, very tranquil. And so it feels very calm and relaxing. And what I feel around it also, other than just admire my beauty, they pointed also to the fact that just like the rarity of the blossoming, and I'm believing that it's more to the specific season, and it's just allowing oneself to procure, allowing oneself to kind of blossom throughout a specific season leading up to it.
That's beautiful. And does the energy feel masculine or feminine, or neither?
Neither.
Love that. I'm going to jump to Danica.
So I'm being shown, I believe it's a fern, like a hanging plant fern, and it brings like a peaceful feeling. And it brings like an energy of like an all-encompassing healing that goes back and forth, like whatever love like we give to it, it also like heals us in return. It's almost like a flow cycle of like it heals everything around it too, like the oxygen, the like everything. It's almost like it's like a, how do you say, like regenerative, how do you say that? Regenerative? How do you say that
Regeneration.
word? Yeah, like
Generating.
like
Regenerative.
energy. Yes, that word. Like a cycle, like that goes like we give it that to us, it gives that to us. Like it's like a healing one. It's showing me like the flow and like the arrows flowing back like in a circle. It's pretty cool.
That.
It feels really peaceful.
And what about you, Melissa?
They were just joking. It's the circle of life.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't turn into one specific like plant or tree, but they were showing me the earth and how the color was green, and in terms of it was like a healing color. So it was like the little tendrils going out into the earth and up through the plants, and just this very cyclical type of energy where it is healing. So the trees as their own spirit can choose to help humans, because really humans are not their focus, it's the earth. And so
Yep.
you can kind of catch yourself up in that circle by being with the trees and just asking, like talking, even if it's just a mental question. So they are not opposed to helping humans, but that is not going to be a proactive thing for them.
And one thing, I think there's so much accuracy because I was receiving very similar messages as like one of the questions that I'd asked just now was, what is your advice for us of being? And the response very quickly was, y'all are the only ones who need help being. I was like, dang, okay, we don't need that. Like, wow. No, but it was very much like, these are human problems. These are y'all's problems. But the other thing too is that they are very good. They are keepers of events that they're present for. So it's interesting because they're saying there was a reason that we were used to commune with the ancestors. And there was a reason that they were used for these. They're talking about that we bore witness. Think about them as universal scribes, and then also that they are things that you can leave messages for others to pick up later. So basically like a spiritual inbox, like trees really can work like that. And they're just saying, because my next question was, do they have to be sanctified? Is there something? They're saying there's no process that's necessary, and they also want it to be clear, they're bringing up the fact that like when there's a trunk, like when you've cut them down, they're also saying because everything that you would think while it's perceived as dead, but it still bears the frequency of what was. So you can even sit by a stump and receive the information, even though it's no longer living in the way that we perceive it. But they're saying like where our bodies are, the information will be. So that's unique. I don't know where that goes for anything.
And I kind of feel like, when people will like carve their initials or something into it, I feel like that is sort of like their own intuition of like the tree holds information and we can use it for that purpose. But yeah, I think that was kind of humanity's like, I think there's something here, but not like opening up their mind to it.
Well, I love that too, and you're right, and especially because as soon as you started talking about that, I was like, does that bother y'all? And they were like, it's not our favorite thing. but bother is again a human condition. They're just kind of like, they're a little bit like, well, you're defacing us, but it's not like what is, that's so
Not
funny.
a pain thing.
Well, no, and what's so funny is they just showed me there's a laugh around, and it's a feminine laugh, so I don't know who's showing up to represent them, but it's not a tree itself. It is an energy around me that's feeling very feminine, but it's also, they just showed me like, can you imagine how many layers, like if you think about how many loves have been carved and then hidden and carved and hidden in one tree? It's just like, it's not as permanent in the way that you're like, but that's so interesting. I've never even thought about connecting to in this way. So this is why I love what we do, because I would never just in my own free time be like, what's up with the trees? Danica, you brought up the ferns. And what I think is really cool about those is I've always heard I read about feng shui, but I don't live by it. So that's my bad thing. Apparently ferns are amazing in the home. So there's that. And I don't think that they're toxic to cats, which is super important for us. And, but remember the book, Where the Red Fern Grows? You don't remember that?
I do.
What's going on with the dogs?
Yes. And the weirdest thing was growing up, the two dogs that I had, like Winslow and Rhapsody, they died a week apart. And it was like a year after I'd read that book. And I was like, all right, I quit. I was so sad. So I wonder if there's anything unique about red ferns. They're just kind of trying. Okay, so I don't understand this language very well because they're trying to compare, but they're saying that just like in sound, or I'm sorry, in light, that like there's different frequencies for different light spectrums. They're saying that there is tonality with the color of their chlorophyll or whatever it is that makes them red. So then the next question I had was that root energy? Is that dangerous? And they're like, no, it's just different. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna.
See,
That's what I
that
was
was,
shown.
yeah, what I was being shown was is it different? Not, they were saying it's not perfunctory different than what you think.
Yeah,
You know, it is, yeah. To you, to your purposes, no, it's not different.
Yeah.
we're constantly trying to like add so much meaning, or at least I am. I'm always like, why? But then why? But then why? Okay. Ooh, they just said that this was almost like an invitation. They said, come sit and join us in stability. So it was almost like if you feel unstable, go sit by one. They're like, we'll share that with you. We'll share that feeling. We'll share that.
Yeah, and remember, I had talked recently about doing that. Like, I just had like a super like odd, weird energy day, and I was walking through the forest, and
Oh, I forget.
I just did that. Yeah, and I was like, can you just share some positive energy?" And they did. Yeah, it was nice.
Give me some of that good stuff, though.
That's what I was getting also was that there's a benefit to being a tree hugger. Literally just wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, like sitting down and touching them and being close to trees. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we look at them and like tree hugger people, and they're just in their own happy world, they're not really burdened by what brings down a lot more people. They're just at a different level.
I was asking just now, what about the landscaping types plants? Like, does that change their ability to do their job? Does it inhibit them? And what they were saying is, yeah, it can. Like, trees can be inhibited somewhat. So, for instance, if you've got a house and you've got like a circular kind of a house, and in the center is a courtyard, and you put one tree there, they're not going to be as connected. They will still be connected through the ground, but the benefit of being within like a forest situation is that there's symbiosis between all of the plants. So to be off by itself can be like sort of like us, like on an island by ourselves. Not that we can't be ourselves. It's just that if you're around people, there's a bigger effect. So they're saying not that you should not do that. It's just that, yeah, you're limiting their ability to do what they're here to do.
Interesting. I love that. I'm wondering, can any of us try to connect with the redwoods or aspen trees? Ariel, I'm going to go with you. You've got that 1,000-yard stare of you're getting something.
Well, it was very gruff, like, well, what do you want to know? But then there's like behind it, there's also a lot of mystery. It just feels like you can take, well, I guess not really take, but that you can leave anything there because it can get lost. So
Interesting.
I'm trying to pull it back from like leaving bodies, because I don't know.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Leave your secrets.
Interesting. I love that. Danica?
That's the voice that you shared was perfect, because that was kind of what I was hearing or feeling about like the redwood trees. And it's almost like I heard like you just don't even know. Like there's so many things that we don't even know that they have seen and that they have knowledge of. Like they're showing me like kind of being funny things like Bigfoot and stuff like that, that there's so many creatures in that we just don't even know are there or have been there. And it's almost like they've seen so much, like they're really emphasizing the bird's eye view that they have, that we're so limited, that yeah, there's so much knowledge and so many things that we are so clueless about, is what I'm feeling.
And Melissa?
So I didn't speak to them because it's more feelings, but it was not specifically the redwoods, but the trees that live an exceptionally long amount of time are almost elders in that plant life community. And the knowledge that they impart and their contribution to the earth is paramount. Like those Like these giant trees that have been here forever would be the equivalent of like a kingdom's king. And so their purpose is more than just what you're going to see walking through the forest. And okay, so now they're saying, yeah, when people walk through, they can feel it. You know, it is a different kind of energy in terms of the purposeful what these trees were. They just said what they were put on this earth for, as if something else put them there. So, and then they're saying there's a communication aspect for them beyond the earth. That's weird. So they're saying it's almost as if like the redwoods and these bigger trees are almost like antenna because they have and store so much information. They are like beacons in an energetic world. So if you were to look at the earth from a bird's eye view and an energetic realm, these things would stand up like pillars in terms of their energy. So there is a they have, yeah, they're like elders within the plant community. And beyond like specifically what they do, they're not sharing that. They just wanted to impart the distinction between like the average forest and these trees that have been here for what, thousands of years, hundreds of years? Yeah.
Well, I guess that brings me to my next and last like weird question. So it is, I'm going to skew the story a little bit, but it is very much my belief that we used to have huge, like, you know, giant towering trees and that they were cut down at some point. So I'm curious, what do our current flora and flora feel about the loss if that did happen, if there were larger trees and they were cut down at a different era for us? What are their what's felt around that, or did that never happen? Like, were there never giant trees? Was that never cut down, et cetera, et cetera? I'm gonna go with Danica.
I'm being shown like scattered throughout the world, but only like very minimal of them scattered throughout the world. I'm not being shown a lot, but it's interesting too because I was being shown that there are put in specific areas, almost like part of the grid is what I'm being shown. That there's specific areas they're put for like special reasons in the grid. I don't know if it has to do with like them being wood. I don't know.
Well, they're showing me sitting on top of giant crystal reserves, but wood is a dampening energy. So I wonder if that would have been like a control mechanism or a networking mechanism.
Like how it interacts with the frequency.
Yeah, because I do feel that there would have been repositories underneath it of high power. But I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. Was the tree there first, or what? You know, what are you feeling, Ariel?
Well, I got like a wave of nausea if they were cut down. It definitely feels like the shot heard around the world. And with that, it also, as cute as they can be, if we imagine like the roots all joining roots in a circle and you know, I just feel like this movement like back and forth. So I'm going to take that wave of nausea as like a sense of loss, like a deep sense of loss. But it's not really talked about today. Not like it would have been a long time ago.
And Melissa?
Yeah, so they were saying yes, there is a sense of loss when when any tree is lost, but these elder trees especially. And they're saying it's not they said you're attributing emotions to us. Yes, it's a loss. It is a loss. It is a loss of information, even though in as much as those roots can disperse some information, they are diminished when they are cut down, and there is that loss. And they just said, and there's so few of us remaining.
Yeah, I was just curious about that. All right. So in a more upbeat vibe, let's each sit for a second. We'll try to bring in our own energy that wishes to speak with us. We might accidentally get the same energy, we might not. But we're gonna ask an energy to come through that would have been in a healer space. And I've had somebody waiting in the wings, so I'm going to, I'm all set. I don't know if you guys, but does anybody want to go first? Danica, I feel there's someone with you right now.
She's been here since the
Yeah.
beginning, but she's waiting. So I'm going to let you go first because I'm going to chat with her
Well,
for a
okay.
minute.
Well, so I'll just describe her first. So in case we wind up, we might have a greedy spirit here who's with us all. We'll see. But she's draped in light blue. It's very robe-like. It's very, the word languishing. It's just very flowy. And it feels very priestess energy. And so I'm going to ask her to step forward a little bit. I feel like this energy would have been, she's showing me that she did a lot with childbearing, but she also did a lot with death. And she would have been the recipient of people's prayers. So it feels okay. She's, because I almost went Greco-Roman, and she said no, they were the reason of their downfall. So it would have been one of the conquered energies. It would have been, she would have been sort of hidden away. She's showing me that at towards the end of her existence, because of these encroaching energies, her class of people would have been hidden away. So I'm gonna, if you guys have any questions for her, I'm going to let you guys go for it. She's very gentle. She's very sweet. Like, I feel very strongly that she would have maybe passed while still being somewhat new at this.
So did she, in her healing capacity, was it just a in-person healing as a midwife would do, or did she actively engage in like energetic healing?
The way she's describing it is that because she's showing me the herbs, and so there's this alchemical process that would have been the magic, the energy work had more to do with the way that they were prepared. So they were prayed over, that basically their nature was transmuted by her. That's what she's showing me. And it's interesting because she's indicating that they were the brokers between the energies that do the healing. So it's kind of like what we do, where you could ask for the plants to come in and participate in this healing. It feels like that. She's not taking credit. She's almost like saying, I would ask for these energies to come in and heal, but she's not taking credit for a healing role, like through hands healing, something like that. She's not saying it was that. But she is indicating that there were those. So she's just saying she wasn't like that. So if you would compare gifted to not gifted, she's claiming she wasn't, and that there were people around her that would have been more so. But my intuition is telling me that she very much did have certain gifts, but that she didn't live long enough, is what I'm feeling. She's kind of, she's showing me that if she had been doing work, she's almost like kind of laughing, but her hands would always shake. So she's almost, there's something about that maybe she was kind of pushed to the back because there was this appearance that she wasn't good at. But she was like, but I'm just that way. I get nervous. That's the energy I'm feeling with her. She's bringing up Melissa's left shoulder. Is there anything going on with that?
No, unless she is pointing out the healer that I have with me. So, and he's over here. So I'm not sure, but physically, no, the shoulder's fine.
Okay, well, she was just, I'm going to ask her what that was about. Do you sleep on your side?
I go back and forth between side and back.
Well, so I asked if it was about your guide. She said no. This is where it's being highlighted, and she's just indicating, she's just saying if you were to sleep on your back, you would do a lot better. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. No, those shoulders, both of them are like that. But yes, when I sleep on my back, it is better.
Yeah. And she's kind of, she's giggling at what we're doing, which I think is really cute. But she's just like, well, if this is what you guys want to do with your time, I'm like, all right. So I'm going to thank her for coming through. She was here very early, but she's very curious. I really think this was more for her learning, not for anything more than that. I don't know how that's useful. She was just saying that gathering white flowers, that there's more to that than we know. But she really she wants to be at the mic longer, so I'm not going to allow that. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to ask Danica. I'm going to go ahead and let you go.
Well, she is a very, 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 she looks actually very tall, and she has like dreads that are really, really, really long. She has on like tattered kind of linen clothing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like almost like a tube top and like things on her arms. She's a very, very quiet soul. She has a very, like, she's showing me her kneeling down with like they're big leaves. I don't know what kind of leaves they are. Something that starts with a P. I don't understand what she's trying to say. I don't know. Big leaves that start with a P. I'm not sure. I don't know how to say it. No, not palm leaves. Not palm. It's, I don't know how to say it. But she's showing me her like, I don't know if there's like white creamy stuff in it or whatever, because she's like opening them up and then there's like children that are sick laying down on the ground and she's using that to help heal them. But then it's almost like because she's taking from the plants, it's almost like she's using some other sweet something to put back on the plant that she took the leaf from.
It's like a thank you and like a
Yeah.
Interesting.
So she's showing me how it's like this, it's kind of the same thing, like the cycle of how we all are connected and how we all need to give like positive things to go all around. That's what she's really emphasizing. That our day and age now, she's showing me like a peach tree or something, and like how there's so many people underneath it just taking all the peaches, and like the peach tree can't provide enough for everybody because everybody's so greedy and nobody's like giving back. So she's showing that it almost like it used to be like everyone was more connected back then and more willing to help each other because they didn't have another option.
I'm curious.
Almost saying like how we're greedy now.
Does she work in the spirit realms now, or does she plan to come back through, or is she working as a guide? What is it she's doing nowadays? Or now, not days, whatever spirit has.
She says she chooses to work with the plants because it's more peaceful, she says. That's where her sanctuary, she's saying, is.
Okay, now the next question would be this. Do people visit her in her sanctuary, or is it just for her?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
She is doing it so that other people are able to come in and receive healing. Yeah.
She's hitting me almost like an Orisha or like a.
That's funny you say that. What is that? Because I was getting like aborigine. Like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
I believe it's a Orisha or a Orishi, or it's basically what you would almost perceive like the African Aboriginal gods and goddesses. So I'm feeling very much that she almost, because I feel that she's prayed to. So that's why
she looks tall, like she's a big, like, yes. She feels very like noble-ish.
Well, because I thought what I felt from her is I was like, she is either already working as a guide or she is considered a master, which or she truly is still being ministered to and she's ministering to others, and that would place her more in that godhead than anything. How cool. Can I ask her what color she likes to represent herself through?
She says gold, but a yellowish gold. That's very specific.
I knew. Yeah. So there is a very, and we can look it up later. There's a very, very strong energy that always represents as a very strong yellow. It's one of the reasons why you'll always see Beyonce wearing it, of all people. So, this is a very strong energy that you've connected with. So good for you, Danica. And also that it knows
she was
you.
Here right at the beginning.
Well, I think that there is a remembrance to what you used to do and what she does. That's because I feel very strongly that this is not a first time connection. So first time for me, but not for you. Melissa, I'm going to jump to you.
So I say person because this entity lived human lives. So he's a little bit like an equivalent of a guide, and working with another mentor for energy healing. We did a meditation to find a healer to work with us, and so this is where, when we were talking about like try to find somebody to talk to, he's like, I'm right here. But he when he presented himself to me was very human, and so he's saying that he did at one time in one life work for like a monarchy in terms of like an alchemist, but also did healings. And so he enjoys teaching, and he said he really enjoys teaching for those who are just started, just kind of starting out. So he's basically hands on. And so what he shows me that he does is, in the past when we've talked about like wizard and that type of like, yeah, that's what he kind of presents like. And he has on a robe that is, so he's very like, he likes to be regal looking, but he says, yeah, there's many forms of healing that most humans don't use or understand. So, but he came to me because I wanted to do the like laying of hands type healing. And before I met him, like I think it was the day before I met him, I had gone to an attunement session. As there's like four of us. And while I was waiting, I started just kind of like drawing on my hands, not even knowing what I was doing. But it was like doing a symbol, and then it was what do you call it? A spiral on my hands. And so I'd asked the group when we were all done, like what that was purposeful. I didn't make it up, but like, what does that mean? And so it was really just, I think that was him knowing that he was going to come into my sphere. And it was a way of marking the hands as being like a portal. So portal for energy. And so that is where he's going, at least with me, is into that hands-on energy. And he said that's just the first step though. He's like, there's so much more after that. And he talks about what he did. He has multiple lifetimes on earth, but he's focusing on one. He said there was actual like creation of items and the alchemy of not just trying like the king. He's like, kings always wanted us to make things into gold. That was not really what we were there for, but it was transmutation. It was creation, but it wasn't necessarily creating things. It was creating the energy needed that was needed for a space. It was needed for a person. It was needed for a kingdom. It was needed, like, there were so many different ways of using energy to achieve a goal. And he was just well versed in that. That was his talent.
It's so cool. And I guess my question to him is, where would he spend his time when he wasn't healing? Like, what did he enjoy doing when it wasn't that?
He said, I was not above partaking in human frivolity.
I love it. Work hard, play hard, right?
But he said it required, that kind of work did require him to be focused, and there was meditation, but yeah, work hard, play hard.
I love that. And what about you, Ariel?
I have two. They're very opposite.
Okay.
So I'll go with this other one that kind of keeps running away. But it's because she's busy, and she's Nurse Clara. And I imagine, so, the wartime nurses. So
Yes.
that's what she's presenting as. But it's like I'm in her clinic, as much as a clinic can be, and she's just tending to, her focus is more like on the veterans, or like on people of war. What I was feeling also was that when they come back, she said that she's there to tend to them even then. And she doesn't, I don't know, it's almost that she likes what she does because she sees herself being more helpful in this way. Try to keep getting her to come back because she's like, I gotta get back. And it's like, okay, we'll go then. So I'll pivot real quick. The other one that was coming through was a woman in white, and she has like rosary beads on her, and like, it's almost very nun-like because like I can't really see her hair; it's covered up. And she was showing me what she does, as she does a lot of praying, so I'm assuming she's very religious, Mother Mary. But she was showing me more than just the healing aspect. She had a very large role within her society. She had a seat on council. So she was also one of the ones that she was consulted with certain decisions, but I'm feeling that she had more love for, I mean, of course she loves everybody, but she had more love for like the lower class people, because they didn't always have the funds, or they didn't have the means to the most they didn't have access to the most healthcare. It's not healthcare, but to me it's healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we could describe it as like a funnel system with a lever, it was almost like for those like who needed it, it's just at a different level, because I'm feeling again like for that lower class and for that lower part, like the funnel was just all the way open, but then
Mm.
once it got higher up, it was more like, it was still there, but it was more limited. And then asking her like what else she likes to do, like she brought me to like an olive grove, so with the trees, and I was just seeing her, how do you make olive oil? Do you
You
from the
squeeze
oil?
the olives.
But she like physically squeezing them. So
Aw.
and there's like healing property within the olive oil itself.
And then I'm sitting here thinking about extra virgin olive oil and Mother Mary.
Well, you've heard of cold pressed olive oil? That's literally what they're doing. So
There's
just squeezing them.
But that's what I felt more of, even whenever we kind of ended it last week. That was more of what I was being drawn to. It was more of like a Mother Mary type healer. So
interesting.
I'm curious to know if she's still with you, if she would give you like a rough time frame of when she was in that life doing that work.
1800s, like I said, it feels like just old and
Old but not ancient.
old but not ancient. Yeah.
What makes you ask that, Melissa?
Well, there's a fun fact. The first nurses, what we would call tending to the sick, were prostitutes. They were not like what we think of today, and so that didn't come until later. But by the time frame that she was talking about, it would have been recognized as actual nursing, what we think of it today.
I thought she was calling your friend a hoe.
Well, I don't know. She's older. So.
Yeah, no, the way that you described her, they would cover their hair. And she may have been a nun, but even nuns would have not necessarily worn the black habit if they were ministering to the poor. But usually they would have their hair covered, and the uniforms have changed over time. But that absolutely resonates in terms of like when she's saying that she's worked and how she did that makes sense.
Because I don't see any black. It's all white, and it's down to the wrist, down to the ankle. But I'm just feeling, I keep trying to ask about the higher up people, but she just keeps bringing me back down, and just feels more. I just feel more love for them. She had a different appreciation for them. Just a lot of prayer, because I try to ask about medicine as much as I can, but a lot of it is just prayer. If it was obviously coming from source, even if it was not recognized at the time, because what we today recognize as healers, it's just more religious back then.
No, I love that. And it's interesting. I mean, this is going to kind of go into, I guess, the last aspect of today, which is sort of the how do we choose or attune to joy. So I figure, why don't we ask our people what their opinion of it is? Because it sounds like everyone has a very different background, so they're going to have a different answer. My energy, she's very, very attuned to the plants, plant medicine. She's very much beseeching that we pursue that avenue to it of nature and of aligning to the balance of that. And she's very fond of meadows. She's very, very fond of sort of these like softer places where you can sit. Because I asked if she likes the forest, and she said no. So that's unique. She's almost, in a weird way, almost scared of them. It feels like to her, where she would have been occupying time and space, bad things would have happened there. So she's almost like, no, I very much like where I can see everything. But she's saying that's. She's saying anywhere and any time that you can serve. She was saying that's where you reciprocate 3 times over whatever you're feeling, like the good, the things that you're after. And as humanity now, she's saying the things that we seek, they always come directly after helping other people. So that was that's her perspective. And that's probably the most stern I've felt her feel anything, because she's very flighty energy. Danica, I'll go to you.
That's exactly what she's saying, that when she has a useful, functionable purpose to serve and help others, that's when she feels the most joy, is knowing that she is an energy that is rippling out good. And it's like, that's all there is, like, coming from her is good. And in return, that's all she gets back. Like, that's how she feels the most joy.
Seems like a more simple feedback loop than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
Melissa? Or, I'm sorry,
So he's
Ariel?
saying,
Or whoever. No, I did go to Melissa next. I'm sorry. My order's out.
so he said that it's not as simple as one answer, because humans are all different and joy can show up in different ways. So it is finding what kind of joy you want in that moment, because the frequency may be different, and where someone might enjoy being at a party, and he's showing me a rave. So some people might experience that as their joy. Um, and he said, absolutely, in service to others is the greatest form of a soul return off of your investment, if you wanted to look at it that way.
Mm.
But he says that there are different frequencies of joy, and in the human world, you have to sometimes experience it in tangible ways, not in how it enriches your soul.
Well, and like, that's so funny, because I have a really quick rave story that applies. I used to go out, when I was getting my life together, I stopped really going to raves with this friend that was bad for me, and we would always do drugs together. So I started going to these raves sober, because I would drive home, but I would get up to the front and just enjoy them. And one time this like mosh pit broke out, and I was alone and I was sober, and I was just like, this is not what I want. I was starting to get scared. And the gayest giant black man ever came with these giant blue fans, and he just started like swiping at the people that were moshing closer, and then he was also fanning me, so I was like getting a cool down, and he was keeping. And I told him that night, I was like, you are a guardian angel, I'm never going to forget you. And he literally kind of motioned for the mosh pit to kind of go back its other way, because it was starting to like push me around. And I love that man to this day. So how funny. I haven't thought about that in 1,000 years but I remember him vividly.
I want to go to a rave someday.
Well,
Yes, you do. Let's go.
Hey,
listen, we can figure something out.
yeah,
DFW is not short for music like that.
right.
Yeah, we don't see that up here.
Come to
Not so much.
OBW. Come to
Yeah,
OBW,
that's in
April
Fort
20,
Worth.
April 20.
You say ubby
Come with
dubby?
me.
I promise
We
it's a
can
real
walk
thing.
from my house.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Then we can just pass out on the floor. All right,
Erica's trying to get us in trouble.
that's fine. All right, we need to make this quick. She's ready to go, she said. So so I keep trying to understand like why children playing soccer is important, but it's just her observing, and one person helped is another person that's not lost, is what I guess is like the gist of it. And there's also like, if we bringing family into it, another person that she's able to save is another dot on the map. And I just get this overwhelming sense of community, like of whole families, and seeing it like spider webs, just connecting like to other houses.
Mm.
So, but in the way that like it's all connected, it's all one heartbeat in the community. And so just for her to be able to have a hand in that is really what brings her the joy. So it's like, I bring these babies into the world and I tend to them when they're growing up. And I think even after she's gone, she's still there with the families and just seeing how they fare later on. Like, I guess how they're faring now, which, is not something that we would say now. Like, how are you faring? So.
Mm-hmm. So she's indicating that the path forward with that would be community and connection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could use more of that too. We definitely but I think that we're getting back into it as a collective. I think everyone's starting to wake up to how tired they are at feeling alone, but it's still going to take some time. I
She said we're
forgot
doing a
to
great job.
ask. Well, thank you. That's kind of relieving. Honestly, like, how crazy is it how much I want the approval of spirit? I'm like, thank you so much. I needed to hear that. Um, I forgot to ask you guys personal questions earlier when we started, because now is usually the time that we would do that. Does anybody have any?
I would just say, what do I need to know?
Yes. I'll put, what do we need to know?
I like that one too.
All right. Do you want to just round robin
Round
that one?
robin.
Okay, so just messages in general for each other. I'm kind of getting my ducks in the row, so I'll let you guys get your ducks in a row. Let me see. Danica, I feel very strongly on your trip. Do not fall into the trap of developing anxiety about coming home. And one of the ways that you can do that would be to set up before you go a plan of action for your return. That way you're like, all right, cool. And that when I get back, here's my plan. I'm going to get into this habit. I'm going to start painting. I'm going to do this. Have a game plan so that you have something to be excited for when you come home. And then also a big thing is really continue to develop patience for whenever your partner moves in and there's kind of well, but that's my thing. Well, no, but that's my thing. Because what might happen and what we want to guard against is, and one of the ways they just showed me, get you a favorite spoon, one that's cute, get you a favorite coffee cup, like get you just things that would never really be used by him anyway. So it's built into the equation that you kind of have your stuff, because I feel like that's going to be a feeling that bubbles up here. So just maybe that's cute. Maybe that's what you do, what you plan for when you get home. Or maybe that's what you shop for while you're away, is just like a special spoon, a special, like whatever it is. That feels really important. And then just having a game plan for your return. Ariel, the things are still the same, where it is really, I know you have a lot of reasons to be turning your energy to other people right now. But one of the big aspects that still remains true is this is supposed to be your year. Like last year, your relationship got the year. And you spent all the time that you needed managing it, all the time you needed coming into clarity with it. And so now it feels like you've recommitted into your energy, and you don't have to worry about that. If you get frustrated, you get frustrated. You're like, listen, I am married to a frustrating man, but there's no longer work for you really there that I see. Like, I feel that has straightened up to the point where it needs to be. And so if and when you get frustrated, pivot into, I'm just going, like, what am I doing to give back to me? What benefit do I get from my kids? And then how do I factor that into my life, right? So for instance, it's not just about making sure that Ren feels happy or making sure that your son feels happy. It's like, what do I enjoy doing with them where they make me happy? And I need to budget for that. And if they're happy as a result of it, that's the side effect of the choice you made. You're allowed to reap from those around you, right? And so to remember, that's your goal this year, is developing your own. They almost beat to the drum. It's like, how you have your own beat. It's like you kind of, we need to establish what is your beat to the drum, and to which drum, because it can't be your husband and it can't be your kids stressing you out. I just feel that, Melissa, you're very much going to like where you move. You're right. Like, I do not feel that there is going to be any challenge there. And the other thing would just be, one of the underlying feelings that I think is probably percolating and potentially not being addressed openly is all of this moving around for you. There is a very deep unsettling nature to it. And so to kind of comfort yourself through that very openly, it's almost like eat the fucking chocolate, like get you soothing things, because underlying all of this activity for even this past year, you've had so much change back to back, and then more so now coming. And so you need to kind of, well, you don't need to do anything, but the advice would be to really, I don't know how to say this, like they're saying sit with it, but not in a way of submitting to it, but almost in a way of like, when a young child needs to be told it's okay that you're pouting, it's almost like you need to be okay with the fact that you've been putting yourself through the ringer, not because in a negative way, but in a needful way, in that you do deserve soothing for that. You do, and it's like year long. It's not one thing. They're showing me this is an undercurrent. You've been performing in a way that is not natural to your energy, which is being very roll with the punches and good with the changes. but you deserve a reward for that. And that's hard for you. Actually, they're saying it's almost like if you choose to reward yourself, it's almost like you would give yourself a planner. And you're like, that's not a reward. That's like a hidden thing to do next. Like, you know what I mean? So they're
I do
saying
like
even sometimes,
planners.
I don't know why I said that. Okay, but they're saying give yourself something that doesn't have a reason or a purpose for later, things like that. And they're saying the trinkets that you get for yourself are very soothing, but it's almost like you need more open acknowledgement that the past 2 years have just been change after change after change. And now for you to move again, I can feel some percolating anger. I mean, we talked about anger before, but also it's almost like there's a small part of you that's like, this is unfair. And so that part of you at least needs to be acknowledged. And it's not really so much about the husband, because I know we talked about that earlier, but it's really about how much physical home changing you're doing, not really like what he's not giving you gratitude for. That can be a conversation that you can actually get something back from, which is like, hey, I'd like a thank you card and some flowers. Love you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm feeling. If anything happens more, which might, I'll just write it down and tell you guys after y'all are done. Who wants to go next? Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. So for Danica, and this was brought up earlier whenever we were talking about your trip and your dad and what's your boyfriend, Michael? You said your new boyfriend, Michael.
My lover.
Yeah.
Yes.
My lover.
Yes. It's all the way that it feels is to push him to make decisions. And it's almost like that you're giving him all of the information that he needs. All he needs to do is to say it out loud. But it is going to be a way also for your father to see that you'll be okay or that you're doing okay. And so, and I feel like he's just really worried. He's really worried about you. You've been through a really bad relationship. And just for him to have somebody else in his peripheral for you, I feel like it would be, it's going to change the relationship that they have after that. So I'm kind of wondering, like, what kind of decisions might he have to make? But they're just small. So, like, as far as where you go out to eat or like go get drinks or something, it would show your dad that he's taking care of you. And for Melissa, I felt the weight of like a weighted vest being taken off. So, if we were going with what Sophia was talking about, it's almost that to just whatever weight that is that you've been carrying, whether you know it or not, to just take it off, because it feels like a bulletproof vest too. So it's like a weighted bulletproof vest, and it would just, once you take it off, I think you're going to feel anew without worry.
It's so funny because I heard I'm gonna feel safe and I'm gonna be safe.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think there's still not really anxiety, but still just the question of when is your condo going to sell for you, and it's coming very shortly.
Yeah.
But to just continue to remain steadfast and have patience through it. And I think really that you'll get the offer that you want. And so if we think about it too, it's not that it's not right for you, but it just hasn't been right for these other people. So we're on their timing, whoever these people are.
I'm here for that.
Just to kind of let it go.
Well, and to be fair, like I'm not the one hemorrhaging money. Like this is not my condo. Like I want this gone for him. But thank you. I'm very excited. I'm excited because at least I'll be where I'm going to be, which is in Crowley. Because right now it just feels like a little bit of like a holdover. And I love living so centrally. So I'm ready to kind of rip the Band-Aid off of like being away from the things I know and just to go put roots down. So it's, that's mainly, selfishly, that's like what I'm like, come on.
And have you been to this new house?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't know why I was seeing like country boots and a cowgirl hat. And I was like, I don't think Crowley is like country.
Well, no, but it's motherfucking out there. Like, it just feels a little bit like it's like, to me at least, because I've lived centrally. I've lived in Las Colinas for 9 years. Now I'm in Arlington. It's only a couple of miles south of that, but still central. So I'm having to get used to the idea of being like very much west and south. But it's good. I'm mentally and emotionally prepared.
Oh, wow.
Why do you let me do this to you? Okay.
He just wants his camera time.
I know. Okay, I'll stop. All right, I'm going to pivot to, and thank you, Ariel. Thank you very much. Miss Melissa.
All right. So Ariel, it's not necessarily something that we haven't already talked about, but they're wanting you to recognize the role that you play as mother and how much that can exhaust you, and to nourish yourself so that you can keep doing that because it is so important to you. So if you don't take care of yourself, that's where things are going to fall apart a little bit, and that's going to make you feel worse. So take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, so that you can keep doing that job. And you need to let them know when you need some downtime. So between like the kids and the husband, even if you like, they're actually kind of recommending like setting aside, like what we do here is kind of fun for us, but you need to set aside a time predictably every week, so it gets on everybody's schedule in their mind. That is your time to do with whatever the hell you want to do with it. So, but yeah, they say you definitely need to have those boundaries, because, and it's more for you than for them, because you need to stand up for that.
And for some reason, I'm feeling Monday or Tuesday, but Monday is sticking out. I don't know if that's possible, but
It's my least favorite day. Like, I
okay.
get super depressed Sunday night because it's like, fuck, I'm going into Monday. And, like I look
Yeah.
forward to Thursdays so much, but it's just kind of like that Sunday, Monday where it's like,
Yeah, so maybe Monday needs something fun attached to it.
I love that.
thank you.
Okay, so Danica, there's been so much whirlwind of activity in your life. They said you're doing good. Like you're managing all of this. You have fun things, but still like, the trip, there's a little bit of like unpleasantness to planning a trip and flying on the trip and all that stuff. But they said, you're handling all of these things that you've been dealt with well. But you really also, and it's kind of along the same things as Ariel, it's like you do need to find your groove. So after all these big things are done, you need to find your groove, and you need to establish that boundary for yourself, and especially the way that Sophia was talking about it in terms of starting to cohabitate. Now remember, feeling this feeling back when we first started talking about this, that there might be it might be a little rough, like in the beginning of living with your lover, and that is just a normal thing to get through. But it takes, it can be planning ahead that preempts that. So, in other words, planning ahead in terms of what you know of yourself and the boundaries that you need, where it's physically in the house. This is mine. This is, I will take a bubble bath at this time of the night, whatever it is, that is what you need to stand up for as well. But before it even got my turn to do this, your guides were really like spirit and general, like my guides are even commending you. Like you've been through so much and you're doing so well, and it's okay to give yourself a break, is what they're saying. But yeah, they are happy to see you in the place that you're in right now, and they are excited for your excitement. So they're saying you're in a good spot.
Thank you.
Okay, Sophia, they're saying it's time for you to branch off in terms of what's going on, and it doesn't have to be a separation of the family arrangement. It can be an extension. Like I am all the way out here. I need to operate from out here. So not a break, but just a restructuring of what this is. So, and they said you're going to know when that time is right. So it's not right this second, but just be aware that spirit will take you into a different direction that is good and it's different, but they do not want you to sever any relationships. It is just a different route, is what they're saying.
Well, and that's so spot on with what I've been hearing, because when I was like pulling my hair out, trying to figure out what to do, they kept saying like, focus on your classes, focus on your TikTok, focus on your social media. Like, cause I kept trying to do it all for everybody. And they were like, no, you're not, that's not how you're going to make money. It's not how you're going to do anything. And this isn't a supportive element the way that it was never intended to be supportive of me necessarily, but it's not, you know what I'm saying. So I'm not surprised, and thank you, because I needed to hear that was going to be okay.
Yeah, and they're reminding you that it's a friendship, but ultimately this is a mentorship, and there's nothing wrong with backing off a little bit and still retaining that relationship and that mentorship. But they're just saying it's time. Yeah. So with this move, that is what you'll need to just evaluate, like where you want to set up shop, and the distance is going to be part of it, but also it's just going to come up to that time when you're like, okay, now it feels right, now it's ready, now I need to do this.
Yeah. And I think part of my conversation, I knew, I was like, this is a stepping stone conversation, and the direction I'm going is not toward. So thank you. I definitely feel, thank you so much. I needed to hear that. I didn't even know I needed to hear that. Thank you. And Miss Danica.
Thanks for being the first one to say it, because that's exactly what I felt with you, Sophia. So I was
Thank you.
I don't know if I want to be the first one to say that.
No, thank you. Like, dude, I need to hear it just like anyone, It's very confusing. Like we can never use our gifts to see the right choice for us. It's always impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's exactly what I was shown you, like working on all of your projects that you have going. I see you like doing a little bit here and then not finishing it, and then doing a little bit here and then not finishing it. And like you're all over the place. It feels really scattered. And it's almost like they're saying you need to pick one, just one. Like you can keep all the other ones going, but pick one and like really focus on doing it, but make sure that it's your stuff, is what I heard. Very, like big letters, like yours, your stuff, where you put most of your focus and where you try to finish that one project. Make sure it's yours.
Yeah. Thank
so they're
you.
saying pick one that you know is like going to get you the furthest at this moment.
Yeah. And I know exactly which one they're pointing me towards. So I'm so grateful, because like I'm not normally engineered to do that, because I'm trying to like help everyone else, and then whatever's left I'll do. And they're like, bitch, that's a bad choice. And I'm like, okay, I can fix that.
They're showing me like flopping it, like flip flop it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm being shown.
Well, and that's my wound, right? Because if you have abandonment issues, you're like, well, let me just take care of y'all first. And it's like, no, you don't. You're not the person. You don't have to have that in you. So thank you.
Yeah. So it feels like it's going to be emotionally hard for you, though, to step back from being so involved. So, like, they're showing me you making sure that you're like, I don't know why, they're showing me you like sitting on the couch with like your knees up, and they're showing me like eating ice cream with your man, though. Like sitting there with him, like doing that together, spending that time. Like make time to sit down on the couch with him. And I don't know why they're showing me blue, orange, and purple popsicles.
So funny. Well, no, but what's
and purple.
Okay, here's a fucking bizarre accuracy. That's crazy. So he loves ice cream, and he buys these drumsticks, and the vanilla ones have orange packaging and the chocolate ones have blue packaging, and there's no purple, but that's fucking really spot on. That's crazy.
I think it's fudge that has purple.
Maybe is
like
it
there
that?
is purple. I think
Dude,
so.
that's crazy, because like that,
There
those
is
are
a
his favorite
chocolate.
treats.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's
Because the ice
insane.
cream's chocolate, and then, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. And we're, that's so funny. We do eat ice cream together, and I don't even crave it. Like, that's really kind of his thing. I love that.
Well, there's something about doing that together that's really like I don't know what it is. There's some sort of bonding that happens when y'all do that. That's important.
I love that. Okay, well, lately
Oh,
he's been asking me to eat ice cream with him, and I keep saying no, so I'm going to start doing that again.
are you
Well,
serious?
I'm because I don't really crave sweets. Like I don't crave, and so he'll be like, let's get, and I'm over there wanting to put like one of those small pizzas into the air fryer. So like but no, sometimes I will join in.
Okay. There are ice creams out there, so if you don't like sweet, I buy these for myself because they're low carb, but they're just very lightly sweet, and you can get like the popsicle stick stuff. You can get that and not like get
Okay,
yourself into a carb addiction.
dude. Well, I'm like trying to like I'm getting a little wild out here. I need to, but no, okay, I can do that. Thank you, Danica. Thank you guys, and all y'all. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And Ariel, the very first thing that I was shown was you writing down a budget.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's something that's been stressful for you lately, but they're really showing me that, like, as long as you know where they're saying not even dollar, every cent is going, that you make sure that you put something in there for you only and don't feel
And
guilty about it.
I don't like budgeting. I hate opening the bank app, so I don't do it. So I never know really how much I have. It's just a gamble.
you said we out here.
We out. No, but I mean, I do have a separate account for myself, and so like it's a savings account, and then I also have like a checking account. So really, I kind of use that as if the kids want to go out and do something, I'll transfer money from my savings account to that account. I don't know why. It just feels different. Like it feels like a different type of spend. But yeah.
Hmm. They're saying there's something about it, though, that if you knew where every dollar was going, you would feel more comfortable. Like, I don't know, it was about planning your trip or something.
Maybe. Well, yeah, because we were looking at stuff, looking at places, and everything's just so expensive. Like going
That's
on
what it
trips
is.
and stuff.
That's why they're saying to do that, because then you'll actually physically see that you'll be okay to spend it to go versus just thinking that you don't have enough. That's why. That's helpful. Not that you want to sit there and look at your money.
I'm sure we could all.
It is
I'm
helpful.
hearing that
Yeah,
loud and loud.
thank you.
I don't know why I'm feeling this with you, Melissa. Do you have one or two gray cats?
I have 4 cats. One is gray and one is solid black, and the other 2 are black and white.
I keep feeling like the gray one is the gray one sick or something? Or has something that they need to be seen? I don't know why. That
She
keeps
got
coming up.
not sick. She did get a little scratch. I think when they were playing rough, she has a scratch on her mouth that I'm watching. My boy, black and white cat, is the one that eats everything. So we're constantly on watch with him. But my oldest is also black and white, and she's lost weight recently. So I think she's 13. So she
Mm,
was on my mind to take her into the vet just to get her checked out. But none of them are acting sick. So
well, there is something about taking them into the vet.
So one
I'm
thing,
not hearing exactly why, but
one of the things, this is just a trick. Danica, get down.
hmm
One of the things that I choose to do whenever animal communication is at play is imagine sliding behind their eyes. And when you start to wear their eyes, you can start to wear their body functions, and you can start to feel them a little bit better. So maybe see if that helps. If it doesn't, it's okay. Like obviously, just a technique I use.
oh, well, this is really graphic and gross.
That's okay.
I don't know if they're constipated or what.
okay, so I will tell you, my little gray one for the last 2 nights has been meowing a lot at night, and that's not like her. So it could be that might be part
Yeah,
of it because it's hard for me to monitor their stool pattern when there's so many.
Well, and you are correct with the gray because, I just A/B test because what feels right, and what's wrong. And I was testing against the other ones and I wasn't. So it is the gray.
it's the
She is,
gray one. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
poor baby.
There's some, yeah, something with the back end. Doesn't feel good.
Okay.
Yep. And then I don't know what it is in your move. I don't know if you have like a white wire rack of some sort. There's something to do with when you're moving, it's like one of the last things that you're trying to get to fit in, and it's not going to fit in and it's going to frustrate the hell out of you. Just leave it and let it go, is what I'm being told. Just let it go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Do you
we had to let go of so many things in that last move. I'm hoping that I don't have to do it, but you know, it is stuff. It's just stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're saying that it's going to cause you more stress than it should. So just like prep for it now. Like be in front of it and just say, here it is, and just let it go. And then
I love
so even before, was it you, Sophia, that was saying something about her like taking time to just really like self-care, but make sure that it's something like give yourself something that you can just be in the present moment with, not to use later and keep putting it off and keep putting it off. Like get you like say if you like dark chocolate, or I don't know, I'm being shown like raisins or dates or something. But if you like something like that, like sit in the moment and just enjoy it. Almost like close your eyes and just enjoy it. So you're presently enjoying it and giving yourself that.
That's cool
I don't
because
know what
we
your
do
favorite
not do that
food is.
enough.
Do you like fruit?
I do. I love raspberries and
Okay.
strawberries, and they're a little out of season right now, but Trader Joe's has really good ones, and I just found that
Yes.
out like a couple of days ago. So yeah, I've been missing that. And I do love dark chocolate. And funny enough, I do have some Bejeweled dates because I was looking at recipes for healthier sweets, like, and there's a lot of recipes out there with the dates because they have such fiber and, you know, they're just a healthier option. So
Yeah.
that's good.
I don't
But
know
yeah, I
why.
do
I heard put pineapple with the dates. Never tried
I'll
that.
look that up.
But you'll
Yeah.
like that apparently.
So
Interesting.
I
I
have a
love
lot
that.
of time. Well, when I'm at home, I'm busy a lot of the time, but because Gary is still out in Vancouver, I do have time to sit, and a lot of times it's just watching TV, like for an hour or two, and I have my sweet treats, and I usually go for a massage once a month, and so yeah, I try to do the things that make me happy a little at a time. But I need to just remind myself not to let go of those when I get busy, because I do get busy a lot.
Yeah. But it's even more in small, simple things in the moment, not something that has to be scheduled or planned, because then there's a little bit of like stress that goes into that. It's
Hmm.
more just like simple little things throughout the day.
Okay.
Isn't
I
that
can do
funny
that.
too, how we all have such different needs? Because like Ariel needs to schedule her good time, good experiences. And if Melissa does it, it's going to stress her out. Like we all just have different needs. It's cool. It makes total sense. Apparently I need to eat ice cream. No, but
Yeah.
I
And
love you
I
guys.
did hear it's time to spread your wings, is what I heard for you too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to try. Well,
Said like so whenever you said
mhm.
Crowley like months ago, it was like I don't know. I just didn't see you. I don't see you staying up there. It's just gonna be way too much for you. Like that's a big drive.
Yeah.
So I never
Well,
saw that in your.
I don't know that I see it either, but it's theoretically it is what's on the agenda right now. But again, I think everyone's already feeling the reality here, which is that this isn't, I'll tell you more off air. But so I love you guys. We're going to see each other next week. And why don't we pick the topics next week? I don't know why I'm
Yes.
feeling that. And Danica, you're going to be gone next week. No, you're going to be in town. Yeah. Okay,
It'll
cool.
be
Well,
my
then
last one the
yes.
night
Oh, that'll
before.
be good.
Yeah.
We'll be able to feel some real energy about what's going on then. So, okay, perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
Now
see
I
you
will
guys.
be out. I'll be in Wisconsin next week, but I'm sure I'll have Wi-Fi, so I plan on still being there, but just in a different state.
I love it. Good. Well, then I will see you guys soon. I'm going to stop this, but stay on because I need to get everyone's downloads. And I love you. And we'll see each other next week.
All right.
Or not
Bye.
earlier if it's, I love you too. Bye.